Welcome back for another CPaaSAA Talks. My name's Kevin Nethercott, and I'm here with the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance in preparation for our week in Barcelona at Mobile World Congress. Today, we have a couple of our key members that will be doing some really interesting things and showing off some new technology in Barcelona, and we appreciate them joining us today. Welcome, Al. Welcome, Eran.
Thank you,
Kevin.
Yeah.
Good to talk to
So,
you again.
Al, why don't we start with you a little bit here? Tell us a little bit of what the plans are for Radisys and why you're headed to Barcelona.
Sure. Thanks, Kevin. So the theme for us at MWC this year is monetization for service providers, monetization of the investments they've made in their network. And, you've followed Radisys along in this journey as we've gone from at least in the part of the business that we're focused around digital services and the CPaaS arena. We started with a component in the network, the media server or the MRF, and over the past 2 or 3 years, we've been launching new solutions around that, including a platform we call our Engage Digital Platform. And we've shown the market the types of innovative capabilities in what we call CPaaS 3.0, leveraging real-time media processing, the types of innovations that can be delivered to customers using new AI and ML-based technologies like speech processing and video analytics. But a big part of our strategy and what we're showcasing at this year's event are ready-to-go applications. And we have two in particular that we're emphasizing. One, a new application we're actually launching at the show called Engage Clarity. And you can think about this as essentially a hearing aid in the sky or a hearing aid in the network. And what it does is allow service providers to give users who have some hearing loss, and the World Health Organization estimates that 20 to 25% of people globally have hearing loss. This application can allow them, regardless of what device they're using, a landline phone, a mobile phone, smartphone, feature phone, that they can enhance the quality of the audio to and from their devices so that it makes conversations intelligible. And that's enabled by our footprint in the over 200 operators globally using the media server as kind of a pivot point for that. So that's a pretty innovative new application. And our pitch is for the price of a cup of coffee, a service provider subscriber can, for each month, have this improved quality of experience and essentially improved quality of life. And the second application that we're emphasizing is around the concept of the IMS data channel. So what the IMS data channel promises for service providers is to allow them to deliver immersive applications in the context of a phone call. So no more depending on OTT for collaboration applications and for interactive solutions. And it doesn't require applications to be downloaded on their mobile devices. And one of the use case that we're showing to highlight the possibility of the IMS data channel is pivots around real in-call, real-time language translation. And you may have seen Samsung's announcement at CES a few weeks ago. That couldn't be any better advertising for what we're doing here. There's definitely a need for this capability and a benefit for the capability in a device. But there's also a benefit to having this in network. And this is another solution that can be enabled by the Engage Digital Platform and what we're doing in this CPaaS arena. And it makes this capability accessible. You don't need a supercomputer in your hand like the highest end Samsung phone to provide these capabilities. And that's going to be delivered in a simulation of an IMS data channel solution. So those are the new kind of highlights for this solution area that we'll be showing at MWC.
Very cool. Very cool. Now we've had the opportunity to highlight a number of your applications in the past. In fact, you're a CASA 23 CPaaS Showcase winner with your video solution. So I'm sure whoever visits the Radisys booth in Barcelona will be blown away with what you're able to show there. So that'll be great. Eran, tell us a little bit about your organization. I think you're a little bit newer on the scene in some respects. Yeah. And so let's let our listeners know a little bit about the background, and then walk us into why MWC is important to your organization.
Perfect. So just first of all, saying, Al, the solution you've just mentioned are mind-blowing, and I'm looking forward to try that. And I think this type of innovation that is possible today is quite amazing.
Thank you.
So yeah, we are new at the CPaaS arena. Basically, with that's going to be our first kind of steps into this industry. But we've been providing innovative solutions for big telcos for more than 6 years now. Our initial product line is around the blockchain-based settlement and reconciliation. And we have today solutions in productions with leading telcos like Vodafone, like Deutsche Telekom, called PCSW Global, that are settling automatically all the flows around fixed line stuff. And we are extending this now to the biggest data centers and other big telcos around the world. Actually, the first ever blockchain-based invoice was issued in Deutsche Telekom in December on our platform between them and Vodafone. So quite cool stuff. But we've been working very hard in the last couple of years to create an offering around the Open Gateway Initiative and Kamara APIs. Basically, similar to your point, how to allow network providers to monetize the network better. The way we do it is we expose the capabilities to developers through cloud providers. So basically, we create an open gateway aggregation layer that aggregates the supply and the APIs from all telcos, and enabling major cloud providers, to be able to bring that to market to developers. And our offering will be extended also to existing CPaaS players to be able to offer their customers these open gateway capabilities, as well as we will allow with our open gateway exposure layer to be able to let CPaaS players to work with their customers or with the suppliers, let's say, to let them enable these monetizations very fast and be able to connect them to the market and monetize them.
That's a great description. I'm curious though, what's different this time, right? I mean, as an industry, we've tried API platforms as carriers in the past. What's going to make OGI different and work better?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think we are taking a different approach this time. So what we are doing is partnering with major cloud providers that basically has most of the developers in the world connected to them, right? And when you allow a developer to move into a platform where he doesn't need to get his boss to approve a credit card, he doesn't need the procurement to go and ask for a new contract, you don't need the salespeople to do that. Basically, you just can go and in 10-15 minutes just start working with these new APIs. We believe that lowering this barrier to entry and making the developer complete a full journey in such a short time will create a difference. Also, we are doing this where you get unified credentials for all operators, and you get automatic handling of issues like SLA, like consent management, token aggregation, and you get billed on your cloud provider. So we think that with this innovative approach, we will be able to get the developer community on board.
That's always key, and that strategy makes a lot of sense. Al, as you look at Kamara, I know that one of your colleagues, Adnan, is chairing a group at Kamara. He also chairs our working group for telco APIs and network APIs. What is it that Radisys is seeing in this space that has you excited, and why you're jumping in and being, you're so involved as an organization?
Yeah. Good question. I think it's sort of a combination of things that are coming together in sort of the perfect storm. One, there's this next wave of standardization, let's call it in the API domain, but it's coupled with things like the IMS data channel and that initiative, which I think by the end of this year can be realized end to end from the network to the devices to enable these types of applications. There's also the experience that service providers have had during the COVID period and beyond, with much more demand for digital services. And there's an imperative for many of the service providers to transform themselves into digital telcos. And I think it's these combination of things that are really happening kind of at the same time, which also take advantage of the learnings we've had in our industry, both from the telcos as well as the suppliers. So I think it is that, I think it's perfect storm in a positive way. And there's a lot of momentum behind these initiatives. And one of the things that we've really done, if I look back even from our experience at the media server, a lot of the media server or the MRF is a standardized element in IMS network. So it does certain things based on the spec, and the application, the TAS, and the network controls that. But one of the things that service providers have been looking for since especially since the kind of VoLTE wave and the adoption of our technology in their networks, is how can I do more with this asset in the network that has these powerful capabilities? So, for us, it's looking at it from the top down. What are the solutions that customers are looking for? And then how do we leverage the assets or the capabilities of the network and the APIs that are exposed, like via the Kamara project, to make those applications more compelling and sticky for the service providers.
So, Eran, as we look at this, what would be a couple of key use cases that we should be looking for as these integrations and partnerships come into place?
Yeah, great question. So I think one of the first common use case that we all know is two-factor authentication, right? We all use it on our everyday. We used to get these SMS and get it, wait for the number to show up and click on that. And that's it's an okay experience. But actually, one of the nice APIs coming from Kamara and from Open Gateway is the number verify API. It's not a new API. It's already been there for a few years, but it doesn't have the coverage to really become, the industry default. And what we are planning to do this year, as more and more operators are onboarding the number verify, we will be able to offer a two-factor authentication that is relying mostly on the number verify, and be able to improve conversion rates, improve user experience, and in some cases also improve costs. And we are excited because it's a very simple use case. Everybody uses, so that's going to be kind of a nice way to enter the Open Gateway world with already existing volumes and an improvement for everybody. Later on, we are looking at further down the line, we're looking at other use cases around call quality, around game quality. So even the session we are doing now, imagine that we could pay a bit more to StreamYard and get guaranteed quality on demand. So for the time of this interview, we will get priority on our mobile network, on our Wi-Fi, cable, fiber, to ensure that we have great quality for our audience that are watching. And we think that this is going to be a very big use case, both on this kind of video calls, video streaming, and also around gaming, especially on game streaming and multiplayer gaming. And by enabling this to the developers with single credentials, very simple API, and using the platform that they already use for billing, whether it's the current CPaaS platform or a cloud providers, we think that that's going to be a no-brainer for a lot of the developers to use. There are many others use cases, of course.
Now, those are great ones to highlight, and ones that I think that we're all familiar with, and as consumers, we often participate in those on a daily basis for good or for bad. But that's the way that we're interacting with a number of different services that we are contracted for. So that makes a lot of sense. So Al, as we look at the industry here at CPaaSAA, we're seeing a really interesting trend where we have what I would call the traditional CPaaS players that are providing the RESTful APIs. They have the developer community. They have a number of these turnkey applications successfully. And now we're seeing carriers start to launch a CPaaS service and these lower level telco APIs that are really theirs, right? It's their network. So they're able to provide these services as a differentiator. And so I'm curious, you've got these great CPaaS use cases. How do you see this kind of merging together and taking advantage for the carriers by leveraging and opening up their telco APIs as part of a broader CPaaS initiative?
Mm-hmm. So I think the telco APIs in general are, network APIs are very complementary to what we have in the Engage platform. And what we can do is take the tools and the building blocks we have and make them available through other platforms and carrier portals for where they're exposing those APIs, or conversely incorporate those and expose those through our platform. So our whole approach is kind of modular and adapting to what the service provider is deploying in their network and the capabilities that the service providers are already supporting. And we're doing this also beyond the telco APIs with a lot of the applications that around AI and ML for, let's call them the industry 4.0 types of use cases, which incidentally are another whole class of applications that can leverage the quality on demand capabilities and make those applications usable. I'd argue that it's important for capabilities like the platform we're using here for this call or for Zoom and others, but where it really can make a huge difference, because people have gotten accustomed to, in most cases, a good enough experience. A better experience, many will be willing to pay for. But some of these applications like smart city, surveillance applications, smart manufacturing, these applications depend on low latency, and those quality on demand capabilities that the network expose are really make or break for those applications. Otherwise, they're not really viable solutions. So this is our whole approach, making these capabilities complementary to what the service provider is already offering, or maybe offering as they think about getting into these new services. And that extends to capabilities that, for example, in the AI and ML domain, in our platform, we have the capability in a customer's managed infrastructure, whether it's a public cloud or their private data centers, to be able to incorporate these AI capabilities like speech to text, text to speech, computer vision, or they may already be working with a Microsoft or a Google in some of these domains, and we can adapt to those. So it's that same kind of complementary approach and mix and match that we can allow service providers to, or empower service providers to leverage with our platform.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Eran, as we look at Barcelona next week, what types of relationships, partnerships are you looking to foster while you're there in town?
Perfect. First of all, we are very excited to get to know the CPaaS community and the CPaaSAA community especially. We think that we have very interesting offers and partnerships to make with CPaaS players, both on the demand side and the supply side. So on the supply side, we really want to get CPaaS players that are very strongly connected into the network elements of specific MNOs, and to offer them to enrich these capabilities by exposing Camara and Open Gateway APIs, and then connect them and monetize them. The other side is to offer the aggregation of many of the other MNOs and platforms to some CPaaS players that could, with a very easy integration, be able to create new use cases and new solutions, and to monetize their demand relationships much better. And as always, we're gonna have sessions with the major telcos and cloud providers, and I think most importantly, start engaging the developer community. So we are expecting to have a great live coding session in DevCon on Wednesday at 6:30. And that's going to be a very interesting event with major MNOs and other big CPaaS providers that we hope that will give confidence to developers to working with us.
No, we're excited to see that for sure, and absolutely invite all of our members and listeners here to come and see you on Wednesday. We're excited to have you as a newer member here as part of the Alliance. You connect a lot of the dots in the background, and I think that the industry can benefit from that expertise, and we look forward to having you as part of our booth there in Hall 6 next week, and spending time. And So we invite everyone to come by our booth and meet Eran and the team. And Al, you're doing double duty. You've got some space with us at our booth at Hall 6 D54, but you also have your own larger booth. And so maybe just share with us some of the activities that are taking place next week that we should all be aware of.
Sure. So thanks. So first, our booth, our standalone booth, is in Hall 2D50. One of the things that Radisys, I think, brings to this discussion or to the conversation with service providers around enabling digital services is the fact that we have experience in all facets of delivering capabilities for service providers' networks, literally from the core of the network to the RAN side, to the application side, and even on the devices or endpoint side. So we talk about our solutions being able to control the end-to-end digital experiences, and those come from not only our experience delivering products into this market, but our relationship as being part of the Reliance Geo or Geo Platforms Limited family, where we also bring that expertise of having capabilities, telco service provider capabilities and scale. We know what it takes to deliver these capabilities, and we'll be showing the end-to-end solutions in our booth around the applications that I highlighted earlier. We have live interactive demos, and we also are hosting a fireside chat, I think we would call it, with CPaaS Alliance as well. That'd be February 29th at 10 a.m. at our booth. So a lot of activity. We're showing a lot from the cross Radisys portfolio, but really excited about some of these new demos and applications that I highlighted. And also, a big objective for us at the show is really connecting in with the ecosystem, with partners in the CPaaS Alliance. So I look forward to meeting you, Eran, at the show, and talking about potential synergies as well. So,
yes.
Yeah, no, it's all about connecting, and clearly, we'll be there with 100,000 plus of our very best friends while we're elbowing in for for dinner and drinks at most locations in town. But that's what we go for, is those opportunities to meet and greet and see old colleagues, friends around the industry. But at the end of the day, it is these partnerships that we're looking to form and help move the business forward, these new technologies, get them to market successfully. And so, we're excited to be there as well, and, getting the megaphone out here and seeing how we can get the message out of all this really, really cool stuff that we're all working on. So really appreciate your time joining me today on this CPaaSAA Talk, and look forward to spending the week together in Barcelona next week, and getting some of these demos myself. So this is going to be awesome.
Perfect.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Looking
forward to seeing you both.
All right. Well, thanks, Al. Thanks, Eran, and we'll see you in a few days.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.